Beep, beep, beep. Welcome to the court of the EDI Jester. I despair sometimes, right? I despair. It has been known for a long time, folks, a long time, that Owen Jones is a useless twat, right? Now, we've known that for forever. He is a morally bankrupt individual. That is the only way to describe him. And the epitome of the hard left liberal London set and their woke nonsense, like The Guardian, you know, and everything that goes with it. And he's not upset. Shall we say that he's prodded and awoken one of the behemoths of British television. A gentleman, for those of you who don't know, called Andrew Neil, who has been a major player in news, current affairs, culture, coverage of that kind. Andrew Neil was the man who blew the whistle effectively by getting that, what's that homophobe called? Monroe Bergdorf, great big LARPing bloke, right? Got him on his television program and then made him look like a complete arse over racism. That's a classic video, if ever there was one. So Neil is no slouch. Andrew Neil is a big bullish player in the game in terms of news. He made an appearance on Question Time this week, going back a few days, okay, on Question Time here in the UK, and you may be able to find those clips on YouTube if you look, in which he was very, very strong in his summation and in his assertions about what's happening in Israel. And I think Neil is one of the best placed people to excoriate the kind of monstrous behaviour of somebody like Owen Jones. And the Daily Fail provides us with an article in which he does just that. And it's a thing of glory. It's a beautifully written piece, filled with intense anger. You can sense it coming off the digital page, as they say. So Andrew Neil says, in what moral universe, links in the Dubris, as usual, in what moral universe can the hard left's poster boy justify watching the Hamas massacre video and then sowing seeds of doubt about its horrors? Even battle-hardened war correspondents have winced and shed tears. I certainly did, watching the harrowing 43-minute video documenting the barbarism of Hamas on October the 7th. It was spliced together by the Israel Defense Force, the IDF, from Hamas's own body cam dashboard and mobile phone footage as they proudly recorded their atrocities. Now there's a new video on YouTube about that day, which, in a very different way, is also difficult to watch, though in this case it's more likely to make you retch than cry. It's a 25-minute monologue, though it seems much longer than that, by Owen Jones, a prominent voice of the Guardian Bourgeois hard left and on-off Corbynista, which addresses the contents of the IDF's video. While accepting several times that Hamas did indeed commit war crimes on that terrible first Saturday of October, Jones nevertheless proceeds to nitpick, undermine, question, and sow seeds of suspicion about the veracity of parts of the video. It is a worrying, disturbing, chilling, often irrational performance which descends into incoherence as it reaches its weary end. Jones regards the IDF video as Israeli propaganda, designed to justify the death and suffering that it has since rained down on northern Gaza in retaliation for October the 7th. If that is its purpose, then it has clearly failed. As the death toll of civilians, including thousands of women and children, mounted, while much of Gaza City was reduced to rubble, public opinion across the globe has turned against Israel, as it always does when it responds to some terrorist atrocity. Even America, the only ally that matters to Israel, is insisting that, while hostilities breaking out again, now hostage swaps are over, the IDF must be more careful, considered, and proportionate in its efforts to wipe out Hamas. You know, it really helps if when you're thinking about this, if when I say the word Hamas, you think Nazi. Israel has indicated it is listening and will behave differently in the next phase of its war on Hamas. But Jones is wrong. The real purpose of the video was not to pave the way for Israel invasions of Gaza. It was to show the world exactly what Israel is up against. How can you negotiate with people capable of such barbarism? What is the point when the Hamas leadership has already pledged to launch more October 7s the moment it has re-established the capacity to do so? Its aim is not to force Israel to the bargaining table, but to wipe it off the map. It revels in killing Jews simply because they are Jews. Exactly what kind of peace deal can you do with people committed to your extermination? Throughout his long ramble, oddly cold and calculating, Jones fails to confront or respond to any of these points. Instead, he concentrates, curiously, perhaps even immorally, on trying to establish that, although Hamas are indeed evil, perhaps they are not quite as evil as the Israelis are making out. And anyway, there are lots of Israeli evils too. It has long been an outrageous conceit of the British hard left and proof positive of its moral bankruptcy that Hamas, a bloodthirsty terrorist group, and the IDF, the military arm of a thriving, disputatious democracy under constant threat, are two sides of the same coin. Jones is certainly keen to give Hamas the benefit of the doubt and cuts its killers the sort of slack he would never grant the IDF. He accepts that Israel women and children were massacred, but is strangely keen to point out that the IDF video provides no conclusive evidence that babies were beheaded, women raped, and children killed intentionally. What kind of bizarre mindset, what sort of moral vacuum leads anybody to posit such crazy caveats? If there was rape, says Jones, and sexual violence committed, we don't see this on the footage. It doesn't seem to have crossed his mind that even Hamas might be a bit wary of recording rape or sexual assault, or that the IDF, if it has such footage, would be reluctant to show it, given the intense anguish it would cause families already suffering the incalculable pain of bereavement. Nor does he confront the fact that there is plenty of other testimony that such attacks took place. It's hard not to conclude that no normal person would think this way. What is the point of claiming that though many children died on October the 7th, the video doesn't always make clear if it was the result of reckless firing or deliberate targeting? That's just because we see a young woman's burnt corpse with no underwear and a pool of blood, it doesn't mean she was raped. I'm sure that's a great comfort to her family. It is true some Israelis were sadly killed by the IDF as it rushed to defend its citizens from Hamas, the sort of collateral damage that often tragically happens in the chaos of war. But why does that in any way exculpate Hamas? They wouldn't be dead if Hamas had not attacked. Jones is not indifferent to the suffering and carnage of October 7. He admits to being ashen-faced, horrified, disgusted when he left the IDF screening. He details one of the video's worst scenes, a father in his underpants trying to escape Hamas with his two young boys. They make it to their security shelter, but before they can close the door, one of their attackers lobs in a grenade. The father is killed, the boys emerge injured and blooded. One has lost an eye. Hamas doesn't kill them, Jones points out. Is he trying to imply they are not quite the child killers Israel would have us believe? If so, it is a contemptible position. There's a lot more to Andrew's document there, so that you can go and read it in the Daily Mail. Go and have a read, please. Finish it. And also, the words are more powerful than I could ever be about it. Owen Jones, you are a stinking excuse for a human being. I understand that he's been threatening people with legal action, hasn't he? On the Twitters, saying that he'll take legal action against people, and then he's being challenged on this by some folk. The hard left are disgusting. That's it. They are disgusting. And Owen Jones is your poster boy. Your poster boy for your filthy belief systems. pushes medicalisation of children, belittles murder of children, belittles murder of people, tries to both sides a conflict that is the equivalent of the Jews taking on the Nazis again. This man is beyond the pale. Beyond the pale. Talk about ceasefire by all means. You know, see what we can do, how we're going to move things forward. But the simplicity with which he approaches it shows really that, in the words of one of the presidents from the West Wing, he has a 22 caliber mind in a 44 caliber world. I couldn't get through his diatribe. It made me sick. You're free to try. I'll see you later, all right? Ta-ra.